everybody, it's Jessica with the City of Sweetwater. I'm here with our city planner, John Campbell.
Good morning.
Morning, John. John left us a little surprise this morning when we walked in because John, unfortunately, is an Alabama fan and...
Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
So normally we would be recording this last Thursday. That's when we should have recorded it, so we didn't have to talk about Alabama today.
And I've got my shirt on, so
Yeah,
there you
we
go.
see it. He even had a little hat, his like Bear Bryant hat.
Houndstooth, yeah, wore the houndstooth today.
He decorated the whole office. To be fair, we did this to him last year when Tennessee won. We may not get a chance to do that again for a while, so I'm glad we took advantage of it when we could. Anyway, we're here to give you the quarterly update. This is the fall 2023 edition of everything that's going on, what we know of that's coming up soon. John, start us off with some residential development.
So residential development, again, the biggest thing going right now is just remodels. One of the things we've talked about here for a long time is just the lack of housing and developments going on. And the good thing about that is some of the older homes that were in need of some repairs have been bought, some by local folks, some by folks from out of town, and have been remodeled and brought up to code and have gone on the market to be sold or as rental properties. So that's a good thing. That's probably the biggest driver right now. But there's also, most people have seen off of High Street, River Park Townhomes. That project's been going on for a while. It seemed like for a while there wasn't a whole lot of movement there, but that's while they were getting their infrastructure in the ground. So their sewer lines, their water lines, their storm drains, all those things. But you see, if you drive by there now, you can see that they just put the first layer of pavement down. So the road that actually goes in there and turns to come back out has been paved. So we went out last week and inspected that, making sure it was done to city street standards. So there's a road going in there. They've sent in their building permits and their building documents for the first 4 units. So basically the first building will be, it's townhomes. So there'll be a townhome there with 4 units in it, so 4 new homes combined into one building.
And those are to be sold, not rented.
That's correct. The townhomes will be sold, and at completion there will be 23 units. I believe there's 5 structures, 5 buildings divided up into, will be a total of 23 units. And then just behind it, there's a small section there. You can see the dirt work if you drive by there. There will be 8 apartment units, and those will be rentals. So a small apartment complex with 8 rentals, and then 23 townhomes that will be for sale. And
there'll be just a city street that's a cul-de-sac coming off of High Street that goes into that complex.
That's correct. City street goes in there, cul-de-sacs come back out, and then there'll also be, when they start the apartment complex, when they start building it, it'll have its own entrance. It'll have a separate entrance into it.
Okay. So, yeah. Other residential development, we know Willow Creek has a new developer on board.
That's
Hector.
Right.
We're glad you're doing those. He's going to be adding some more residential units.
That's right. We talked about this a little bit in our last quarterly update. The property that was the remainder of the property there in Willow Creek was approximately 39 acres for future development. Hector Jaramillo bought that, has sent in site plans to develop it out. Eventually that's going to add, this next phase is going to add 48 homes. And so the surveyor's working right now, platting it out for the first 12 homes. So there's going to be a dozen new builds going up. But eventually, over the course of the next couple of years, maybe 2 years or so, 48 new homes in that next phase of Willow Creek. So the first 12 of those should be coming up. We're getting into winter now. They're doing all their infrastructure as far as their, road layout and things like that. But hopefully in the spring, we'll start to see some construction going in there.
Speaking of Willow Creek, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. they're doing a meeting with the Willow Creek residents and users of the sidewalks and things inside Willow Creek. There's some issues with the trees that were planted and how they're buckling some of those sidewalks. So if anybody has an interest in that, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., that's Tuesday, October 24th at 9 a.m. at the Willow Creek Community Center. They're going to be talking about that and discussing that with those residents and proposing some different options for solutions on that. What else we got residentially? Anything?
That's about it. I don't have anything to report. We talked about last year some other developments that had been purchased or rezoned. There are a couple of projects. I will say this, people are asking about rentals. If they can't afford to buy a home right now, or the rates are too high, and rent is not cheap right now. And so people are asking that, do you have anything to rent? We've got a couple of projects going on for duplexes to be built. Now, those will be rentals. So basically, it's one home, one structure divided down the center by a firewall. So you got 2 units. And so we've got about a half dozen of those that are slated to go in off of Highway 11. And then there's also 4 or 5 more that are slated to go in off of near Westview Cemetery. So hopefully some duplexes coming in to get some rental properties on the books for people. So just more options, more variety as far as housing goes.
Okay, so that's residential. I want to talk a little bit about commercial. You were talking about infrastructure and how it takes a while to put in the underground, and then all of a sudden it's like the top part gets done like that sometimes.
Yeah.
That's how it happened with Wendy's. Like, I mean, it was just dirt, and then all of a sudden now we have a structure out there.
That's right. Always in the beginning, all the legwork takes forever, whether it's paperwork or the process of going through, site plans and things like that. But it seems like once you get to the point where you can actually start moving dirt and building a structure, it goes up relatively quickly. Mm-hmm. And so that's the case with Wendy's. They'll be up and running in November. Same thing with, Main Street Bar and Grill or the Lazy Beagle downtown, Sam Mosier's project. For the longest time, when you're dealing with an older structure like Wendy's, they had to tear down the old BB&T. Mm-hmm. So you got to do all that work and then prep it for the new building to go up. But once it takes off, it goes quickly. And that's, kind of what Sam's dealing with downtown too. You get an old building and you want to renovate and remodel, but you want to do it to current standards and current codes. So doing that the right way, ensuring that it's going to stand for another 100 years. But once you kind of get to the point we are now, where he's at now, it'll go quickly now. And so I know he's hoping and shooting for November as well. So hopefully at some point.
The front of it looks so good. We're so excited.
It does look really good, and it looks really good inside too.
Yeah.
So even though it's still in the construction phase, when you get in there and you can kind of just picture what it's going to be like, it's going to be a really nice place to go and eat with your family. And I think, hopefully in November, at some point in November, we'll get to see the fruit of all that labor and all that hard work.
All those questions.
Yeah, all those questions with that.
So KFC was kind of still in a holding pattern, but moving forward still.
Moving forward, last I spoke with them, they did say that they had recommitted to the project. I think with supply chain issues and cost of construction and all those things, they had kind of pulled back a little bit and looked at some of their other projects around the region, around the nation, and decided which ones were higher priority and move forward. And they did tell me that they had recommitted to this one, and by the end of the year they'd be moving forward. Now, I don't know that means they're going to have the site cleared and be moving dirt, or if it just means that they're going to, get that project slated for, the first of next year. But they did say that they were moving forward.
We need like a siren that goes off when I can get mashed potatoes. Like,
yeah.
When we are 3 weeks out, we'll know.
No doubt. Fried chicken, their biscuits. That's their biscuits. Yeah. So, but.
Is that everything for commercial right now?
Pretty much. I've had a few calls asking about the old Verizon spot. The old Verizon still, a pile of concrete where they did their demolition. I've had some people calling saying they've heard this and heard that. I will say that, there is a site plan being sent in for that spot. So I don't want to say anything before it happens because, sometimes plans change. But I will say that, the company and the folks that have been I've been dealing with on that, they have submitted their site plan for review. So hopefully we'll get that on the agenda coming up pretty soon.
Are you trying to be mysterious about this, John?
Not trying to be.
Are you trying to throw a little intrigue into the quarterly update?
No, most people probably know before me because they call me and ask me, "Hey, I heard this is coming." But yeah, I just don't like to put it out there until it's actually.
Let's start a rumor, John, just for fun.
Yeah,
come on.
Well, we could.
Is it Chick-fil-A?
It's Buc-ee's is going in right there on the Verizon lot. Buc-ee's is going to squeeze in right there. So.
That's terrible. Okay, it's not Chick-fil-A and it's not Buc-ee's, y'all. That's all we know for sure.
That's true. I'll say that.
So, tell us a little bit about industrial. I know we've been talking about the property that used to be the flea market.
Yep, the property at the Fleet Market was purchased. Crest Trailers is the name of that company. They're going to be building trailers, various sizes of pull-behind trailers, not mobile homes that you live in, but they're going to be building various size trailers. And what makes them unique is not only do they build the trailers, but they have their own powder coat system right there on site. So instead of
that's why they needed a big long metal building, which the flea market fit perfectly.
That's right. Instead of buying the trailer that's painted and then having to take it somewhere and get it powder coated, They do it all in one. So the trailer is built on site, then it goes through their powder coat system, so the product that you buy is ready to go and be protected. So they've hired about 10 folks to, get in there and get all the equipment set up, get them ready to be up and running and get operational. And then those 10 employees are going to roll into a full-time position. I spoke to them over the weekend because I've had a lot of people asking, hey, I'm interested in this job, I'm a welder, and that's what they're looking for is skilled positions. And so if you're a welder or if you have
truck drivers, salespeople, quite a few professional positions as well.
That's right.
I think they told me last month they were primarily hiring on ZipRecruiter, so if anybody's on ZipRecruiter, that's probably where they're posting those jobs. And they said they haven't had any trouble finding qualified people to fill those jobs, so that's good. And
they did say too, over the weekend, just send them up there. Said we would love to meet them in person. So if you are looking for a job, or if you would like to meet them, and you fit that description, then just go on up to the old flea market site right there off Highway 68. You can let them know, hey, I'd like to fill out an application, meet you guys, and tell them what your skilled trade is, and I'm sure they'd love to meet you and talk to you and get an application.
Yeah. Also on the job front, industrial, Red Stag was here at our meeting Thursday at the Sweetwater Merchants and Property Owners Association meeting, which is 8:30 a.m. the third Thursday, and we meet once a quarter. So this was our quarterly meeting. Red Stag was here, and they had hired, I think you said around 140 last week. So they are up and hiring again, all through their website, redstagfulfillment.com.
Yeah, they had just onboarded an additional 171, wow, or maybe 176, but that gets them over 300 employees here at the Sweetwater site. So, and when we spoke to them, I believe they spoke at the Kiwanis meeting a couple months ago. And they did say that the Sweetwater site will be their hub for the entire East Coast. So kind of a big deal. And so it's one of those things where we're now starting to see that. We've been talking about it now for a couple of years. It's going to have all these job opportunities and things like that. And we're starting to see that kind of unfold. So up over 300 employees and rising. They're still going to, I believe that facility may house about 500 employees when it's fully operational. So, and they're currently getting their rack systems. That's kind of been the holdup on some of it is, they got about half the building built out with their storage racks, and then they were waiting on the rest of the racks to be delivered. Then they finally got delivered, and they have to wait on them to be assembled. So they're getting there. They're getting there. They're dealing with things like everyone else. But yeah, that's exciting that they hired those additional employees. It's exciting that they've got 300 plus people there.
And that we're going to be their hub. That's great. And they're right there on the interstate. Just right close. So talking about some city updates, we are in the process of acquiring more property. We are buying it from Sweetwater Utility Board. We should be closing on that next month. The city board is actually voting on first reading tonight about purchasing the old electrical warehouse, which is in downtown. It's a blue building right beside the Depot and Visitor Center. Sweetwater Utility Board has moved their electrical facilities out to 322 so they can all be together on one property. So that left vacant buildings in downtown. The city's going to be purchasing those from the utility board. We hope to turn that into a community center with indoor basketball facilities, meeting rooms, maybe a stage and concert type area with a sound system and all of those things. So there's some beautiful drawings on that. Our in-house architect, Sam Mosier, has done those drawings for the city and is working on building out plans for that. We also will be acquiring the property on the other side of A Street that the utility board owns and has offices in now. So we'll be purchasing quite a bit of that property downtown to try and make use of that and of course make those city facilities public facilities. It adds more parking to downtown, which is becoming more and more of a problem, which it's a good growing pain problem to have, but it's definitely an issue. You see the paving has been completed downtown by TDOT. They're working on the striping right now. Street department's almost done with their sidewalk project downtown. The landscaping's gone in, it looks so much better. So we're hoping to have that completed by October 31st, because as you know, Sweetwater loves Halloween. It's a big deal here in Sweetwater. Last year, our data shows that we had around 19,000 people, visitors to town. That means that where they lay their phone down at night is outside of Sweetwater. So we had around 19,000 people come to Sweetwater for Halloween. We are still taking vendors on that. You can register at our website at sweetwatertn.net. John is going to help us with our Halloween costumes that year. City Hall has a theme every year. And John's a good sport. He dresses up and shows up.
Yep.
Does what he needs to do.
Yep.
I tried to get him to wear tights, but he kind of drew the line. He was like, no tights.
That's a no-go.
No tights.
Yeah.
Some of the other things that are going on, our big fundraiser for Main Street this year is a crazy little thing called Love the Musical. Josh Isaacs is directing it and has written this play, and there's some awesome people in it. Erica Sutton Watson, Angie Kyle, Julie Fitch. We've got some awesome people in that play, and we're so
Jessica
excited
Morgan.
about seeing. I am singing. Doug Richardson is singing. Jamie Downs is singing. Josh Isaac is singing. Our beautiful Paige Wilson from Beyond Blessed is singing. So we've got. It's going to be great. You'll laugh. You'll cry. It's great. Tickets are on sale now. You can look at SweetwaterMainStreet.com or SweetwaterTN.net to get tickets for that. We've already sold several hundred tickets, so we still have several tickets left, and it's going to be Friday, November 10th, and Saturday, November 11th. There's a matinee and an evening show. Also, we have the Veterans Day Parade on November 11th. Y'all, please come out for the Veterans Day Parade. Every year, the weather's usually not great, so just plan for it ahead of time and be there and show these veterans that we care about them. They start at Walmart. They line up around 11 o'clock, and the parade starts at noon, and it runs from Walmart down to the gazebo downtown. We'd love to see y'all out there. Also, the end of November is when we have our Santa breakfast. November 25th is Small Town Christmas and Small Business Saturday. We have Pets with Santa, Small Town Christmas, all that awesome stuff going on. And then, of course, December comes. December 1st, we have the Sweetwater Christmas Parade. And the December 3rd, we're doing something new. It's called the Jingle Bell Shop. It's a Sunday event. It's in the afternoon from noon to 5, and there's also going to be a Polar Express experience where you can get hot chocolate at the depot, and then you ride the little trackless train over to the newly renovated train car, and you'll sit in the train car, and our very own Dr. Hugh Campbell will read the Polar Express story. We have now sold out of 5 showings of that, so we're going to get back this week with our volunteers, see how much we think they can handle, how many hours they can put into this, and not totally drain themselves. So if we can add more showings, we're going to try and do that later this week, so keep an eye for that. But like I said, we've already sold that out many times over. And Small Town Christmas last year is what we actually won the Neighborhood Championship Award from American Express and National Main Street. We won out of the whole nation for our sweepstakes program, our Main Street Bucks, everything that we do with Small Town Christmas and Small Business Saturday. Usually that is our business owner's best day downtown for the whole year. So you guys have always been great about supporting that. Please do it again this year. Keep us as part of your tradition, and we'll keep trying to freshen it up and add new things to that. Got a lot of events going on. This is our busy time for events from now through the end of the year. And you think a city planner has nothing to do with events, but poor guy, he gets drug into everything that we do. But that, explaining why we do that and why the city's willing to invest funding in that, last year in Sweetwater, in the last 12 months, we've had 5.3 million visitors to Sweetwater. A large part of that is the Lost Sea. You know, they'll come through and they'll stop here and eat and shop and whatnot as they go to the Lost Sea. And also a huge part of that is just downtown itself. It's a draw in itself that people come here, which is good for all of town. It's good for all of Sweetwater. We have lots of great businesses in Sweetwater Merchants and Property Owner Association. If you're a business owner or just a property owner, we had a property owner in the meeting this month that brought up some really good points and gave us some good feedback, and we were really appreciative that John showed up. So thanks for coming, and we'll be posting about when the next SAMPO meeting is also. We do have some grants for the city that I wanted to talk about. We're applying for some grants for the community center because obviously the cost on that is much higher now than when we planned it 2 or 3 years ago, and the interest rates to borrow money on that are much higher than they were. So that's made us have to go back and kind of look at those plans again and figure out exactly, we need to go after some grant funding for that instead of just funding it 100% by the city. So we're working on some grants for that. We're also working on grants for the Biggs house, which we acquired. Good old Dollar General gave us that property. So we're going to be working on some options that we can do with the Biggs house, maybe partnering with some other entities and looking for grant funding on that. We still have several sidewalk grants. We also this month were awarded a large local Parks and Recreation Fund grant from the state of Tennessee. That's going to help us rehab the pool. We're going to put rehab the lining in it to where it's not leaking. And we'll also tear down those bathrooms and the bathhouses that we played in when we were kids. Yeah. So they are very old and they need to be rehabbed, and they also need to be ADA compliant. So we're going to be moving the location of those bathhouses with that grant. Just a lot going on. There's always a lot going on. Lots of growth right now. Lots of positive things coming. As always, you can find most of this information on our website at sweetwatertn.net. All the ordinances that get passed, our board meetings are posted to YouTube. Our minutes are on the website. Our planning commission minutes are on the website. The agendas for all those meetings are on the website. So pretty much anything you want to know, you can find at sweetwatertn.net. And if you can't find it there, call us at City Hall, 423-337-6979. Anything else, John, we want to tell them before we wrap it up?
I think that's it. That's a lot, but I
plenty.
think that's it.
All right, you guys have a great holiday season. We hope to see you at some of our events, and everybody be blessed.
Roll Tide.
Cool.